Hi, everybody, and welcome to Galactic Wisdom. I'm excited to have with me today Heather Woodward. Heather, welcome to Galactic Wisdom.
Hey.
So Heather is an award-winning clairvoyant, psychic, channeler, and medium. At present, she's done more than 30,000 readings and guided hundreds of clients with their most pressing issues. She's a certified life coach, crystal healing practitioner, Rose Priestess, and works with the Magdalene Rose lineage. She consistently works with Pleiadian guides, the Blue Rays, and the Ascended Masters in the Sisterhood of the Rose. Well, I have a lot of questions to ask about about that.
Okay.
First of all, there's four words that describe you: clairvoyant, psychic, channeler, and medium. Would you mind explaining to me and to everybody else watching what is the difference between those four words?
So a clairvoyant is somebody who sees. So I see things. A lot of times when I'm reading people, or even when I'm talking, I'll look up at my head. It's because I'm trying to figure out what I'm looking at. So everything comes in pictures. Sometimes it comes in words too, through audio, but I always see the words before I hear them. So even if I'm doing automatic writing, it's funny how I automatic write. I actually say the words out loud because I'm seeing them. I'm not actually hearing them. It's a little bit different. So, channeler, to me, channeling, and everybody has a little bit of a different variation of this, but to me, channeling is from source or from universal consciousness, or it's from an actual entity or being, or there's always a something that you're connected to for me.
With channeling, for you, does that mean communicating with, or does it mean that something is coming through you?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. Usually to me it's a point. So there's there is something that I'm looking at or experiencing. Sometimes it does come through me, but I'm not really good at letting go of the wheel, as they say, like I'm not.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you can go ahead and take over my faculties a little bit, but I'm still going to be the one that's going to be communicating. And I'm going to be the one that's asking questions. So I do have a bit of a handle on that. Mediums, to me, that's why I say medium is different than channeling for me, because I can read I've done a lot of paranormal investigating, so I can read a building, a room, I can read an area, a land, but it's always dead energy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not there anymore. So that would be mediumship for me. People are like, well, what's the difference between mediumship and channeling? Channeling, usually the thing that you're channeling is alive. It's sentient. Even universal consciousness is sentient to some degree. Mediumship is more dead energy. So it's energy that was there or might have been there. There's something past to it.
So if you're connecting with the spirit of a deceased human being, would you consider that to be mediumship or channeling or clairvoyant?
It would be clairvoyant mediumship because I am actually seeing the person. So,
okay.
And we're having, in my head, we're having a conversation. You can't see me having the conversation. In my head, I can see the person and I know that it's there. And not so much, it's funny because people always go, well, do you see them like out here? And I'm like, no, like they could be standing right in front of me and I don't really see them. I see them here.
Right.
If that makes sense. And then
psychic.
Psychic is just like an overall umbrella. It's just because I have the abilities and I've had the abilities forever since I was little. So to me, as I've grown up, I've kind of had to parse out things. I'm really bad at Like I can't remote view to save my life. I'm terrible at it. Every time but there's just certain things that I can't do. I'm really good with touch, but again, my touch is connected to my clairvoyance, so it's really just to get the energy so I can feel it, or so I can feel the energy so I can see it. It's like I have to hold on to it to see it sometimes. It's like a rock or something like that, or a timepiece or something. Something that belongs to somebody. I can read it, but it's mostly because I'm trying to get the energy of the person, not so much the thing itself. So
Right.
vibrational thing.
Yeah. So would you say that you see more, oops, I just banged my table, more human spirits or more non-human entities?
Depends on the day. It just really depends. I have a really strong kinship with fairies and elementals, and I have since I was little. Like, I remember going in my backyard and talking to things, or going into the woods. One of my friends the other day said, "You're a water sign. I know you love water, but you seem to be in the woods a lot." And it's, well, yeah, because I really do sense the elementals, and um for me, that's the easy. I'm a witch too, so it's the easiest kind of magic for me to do because um energetically I feel connected to that, and so usually I ask for a favor from the elementals, usually fairies, but other things too. So it's funny because I already kind of have that background, like moving into channeling it wasn't like a huge leap for me because I already kind of had it in my system already, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. So when you connect with fairies, first of all, what do fairies appear like to you? Are they the small humanoid, human-looking things like Tinkerbell with wings?
No. They're like the only way that I can describe it is more like a shadow. They're like little shadow people. They're smaller. So I don't know the correct term for it. Some people say, "Oh, that was a gnome," and I'm like, "Okay, sure, it's a gnome, great." Or I mean, I don't know the correct term for it, but they're usually about 2-3 feet tall, and they run around like little kids, and they have that kind of energy. And they have really cute voices. I don't know how to explain it better than that, but they have these higher pitched voices. And the ones that I have experienced, maybe other people have experienced them in different ways, but the ways that I've experienced them is they speak in short sentences. So if they want, and it's kind of a group energy because I've never seen one by itself. They tend to go in groups, but um they have this kind of like, yes, yes, I want that kind of energy. So they don't really speak in long sentences. It's very to the point. Um, or like I've asked, what kind of favor do you want? Do you want um they don't like cinnamon, but do you want sugar? Yes, we want sugar. What kind of sugar? Cookies, and they'll just say like that. You know what I mean? Like it's always
Almost
very
childlike.
yeah, very childlike. Or donuts, and I've said like cinnamon, no, like no, and it's very simple.
So if they're interested in human food, cinnamon, sugar, cookies, donuts, does that mean they have physical form?
They must, because they do, and they like honey. I've given them milk, honey, sugar. Like I said, they don't like cinnamon, but they do like donuts. They like sugar donuts.
And when you put these foods out, and then they come and take them, do you see right there that some of this stuff has been taken?
I put it out, and I usually come back a couple hours later, and it's gone. So
Wow.
yeah, I've tested it. I'm like, it's got to be the animals around here, like the maybe there's dogs or there's birds or something. I don't know, but every time I've done it, I've always received something back. So I do a bit of candle magic, and so usually what I'll do is I'll light a candle and do my own ritual, and then I'll ask the fairies or the elementals to help me. And if they want to help me, what do they want? And so then I give them their favor, and then usually my manifestation comes true pretty quickly. There's a fast turnaround with it. Now a lot of people don't do fairy magic because there is a chaos aspect of it because they are little tricksters, and that is absolutely true. However, you know, you kind of roll with it because sometimes they give you what you want, like literally, and that's always fun. So you have to be really careful. You have to give like little caveats, like, okay, I do want this. However, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't like. You have to like be really, really careful with them. I used to live in this property that was literally out in the middle of the woods. Like, you had to go up this hill to get to my house, and nobody came over, and it was great. Because I just lived in a clearing basically, and in those woods, you would hear laughing, you would hear wind chimes that weren't there, and everyone thought I was crazy because I'm like, I swear there's something out here. But then I would bring, like, my friends would come over and they'd be like, what is that noise? I'm like, yeah, I know, right? I don't have wind chimes. They're like, what? You don't have wind chimes? I'm like, no, I don't. Did you notice the wind isn't even happening right now? And they're like, oh, then what is that? I'm like, you tell me, I don't know. So there was some kind of elemental energy that like to do that. Or the other thing is the laughing. When you get close to it, then it would go farther away again, so you can never quite get a handle on it. And I've heard, see, I don't follow that one because I've heard it gets you lost in the forest on purpose. So that's the trickster energy of the elementals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you would know the answer to this question, but things like fairies and elementals, do you consider those to be of terrestrial origin?
It's a hard question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are theories that elementals are aliens or ultra-terrestrials, and they connect through portals, you know. So I'm unclear with that.
Yeah.
I have asked origins, but I don't really get an answer, to be honest.
Yeah. I find that some entities that are out there that I've discovered are extraterrestrial. They do sometimes present themselves visually, psychically, visually, as humanoid, in order to allow us to be able to relate to them more easily, to perceive them more easily without feeling like they're a threat. I also know, I would say, we can know from some of the genetic studies that have been done on some of the desiccated or mummified alien bodies and hybrid bodies that are out there, that they are made of terrestrial DNA, but they're terrestrial, but they don't fit on the evolutionary tree of life.
Yeah, that does make sense.
In other words, they are able to engineer from cobbling together bits of DNA, like a little bit of human and a little bit of insect. Put them together, you get mantis beings or ant-like beings, in order for them to interact in our environment, with our environment. And when we consider that our spiritual bodies are detachable from our biological bodies, certainly when we die, when you have that idea of this separation, then you can imagine that advanced beings out there in the universe could come to this planet, make themselves a terrestrial body for their spirits or souls, whatever you want to call them, to come in and inhabit. So I think some of the beings that are coming to us are extraterrestrial, but with terrestrial bodies. I think some of them that coming to us just are completely extraterrestrial, and we can see that. But then I think that it's very likely, very probable that some entities, possibly fairies and other elementals, did evolve on this planet.
Yeah, I find them to be more, I guess, interdimensional would be the word that I would use.
Yeah.
Because they go somewhere. They're not always there. And I do notice that that kind of energy is ley line related. So usually I'm like, okay, this has to be a ley line or a major body of water, like a river or a stream that goes through the property. And I call them soft spots. It's like where you can tell the energy has shifted. There's some kind of energy, something's off where you can feel it. You can literally, you walk into the air and you're like, oh, okay.
So you can feel when you're on or close to a ley line.
Oh yeah, completely. Well, I douse too.
Cool.
But I douse by, how do I say it? So I learned how to douse, and then I read the books on how to douse. Yeah. Like I kind of did it naturally because I can already feel the energy, but it was more like to test to see if I was actually correct. You know, like I'm like, I gotta have some kind of
you're an intuitive dowser.
Yeah. So I practiced with it, and then later on I read books on it and took some classes on it, and I'm like, okay, I think I got the hang of this now. But yeah.
Do you use metal rods or willow sticks, or like?
I use the copper ones.
Copper ones.
The copper ones. And I've practiced with so just for fun, I tried to see if you can do a spirit communication with it, and you absolutely can. It's just, you kind of have to be think of yourself as a rod in the ground. So you're just there for the energy, to keep the energy grounded. And then you can use the rods to move back and forth to get your answers. But you have to really, really stay out of the conversation, as I say, because you can't have any kind of input. You have to just stay neutral and let the answers come through you. So it is a bit of a channel. I guess it is a little bit of channeling, because you really have to let it go, not have any kind of thought process about it.
Yeah.
No judgment at all. Like, you can't think or have an opinion. It's like, okay, come through, cool. And then you have to break the connection. So when you break the connection, you're like, okay, I'm done. You let go of the rods and just be done. So, but that's how I am with everything. With any kind of reading that I do, I'm like, and done. Like, just break the connection. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying about, not having an opinion, not having preconceived ideas about any answers that you're going to get in the conversation. Like, disconnect from the conversation, just let the answers flow. When I host group events where we astrally project to beings and we talk to them, we communicate with them, I will often ask questions, and then everybody in the group listens for answers. But the hard part is, as humans, we find it very hard not to interpret my questions, first of all, into people's own vocabulary and language and concepts, and then feel like they know the answers. So whatever comes through often doesn't come through strong enough, and what we receive back are answers from the people themselves.
Right, or emotions. A lot of emotions. I feel this way. I feel that way about it. You're like, well, then you're not really tapped in, because you shouldn't feel anything about it.
Yeah. So what I've started to do is I've started to ask questions just in my mind, telepathically, to the beings, and the people in the group don't know what the questions are, and any answers that come through then are completely unfiltered.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. You have to go in with a bit of nonchalance and not caring. And I think that's the trick, really. I go into situations going, I probably don't know the answer. Like I go and oh well, you know, I give no f's about it. I'm like, whatever. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, great. That's awesome. And so I think it's that sense of that kind of helps me, because I know a lot of people are like, oh gosh, I don't know if I could do those kinds of things because I'm afraid of being wrong. And I'm like, well, what if you're wrong? So what? There's nothing. Oh well. And that you're never usually wrong. It's just a misinterpretation. 90% of the time, it's just misinterpretation. They're either not coming through strong enough, or you're too afraid to actually get the answer. So it's you're getting something though, like 90% of the time. So it's just how you perceive it. And if you don't have any perception of what it's supposed to be, then it just comes in naturally how it's supposed to. So, and if you don't think you have it correctly, just ask more questions. Because there have been times where I've talked to people and they're like, I'm getting information, and I keep telling them over and over and over again. They're like, nope, that's not me. And I'm like, no, it's not going away. And this has nothing to do with me, because I don't really care about this situation. So either you're going to figure it out, or I'm going to keep getting the message. So hurry up. Because I need to get on to the next thing, and you're not letting me. So, and then once they realize I'm not letting go of it, they will go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, thank you, moving on. You know what I mean? And then I can get the rest of the message. But I guess because I've done so many readings, I have that confidence to not care.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because I'm going to get what I'm going to get. And there are times I've been absolutely wrong. And I'm like, oh, okay, so whose message is this then? Because it's obviously not yours. So where am I getting the information? And then eventually, sorry, my dog just came in. Eventually I have to figure out where the message is supposed to go. And that's happened to me a bunch too. So even when I'm wrong, a lot of times I'm not wrong. I'm just the wrong person, or the wrong situation, or the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because timing has something to do with it too. I'll get the message, and then it'll make sense like 3 months later. I'm like, okay.
That's very interesting.
I'm like, thanks. You could have given it to me 3 months from now. That would be better, right? But no, I find there's no such thing as time when it comes to channeling or universal consciousness or any of that stuff. It's there. And if you're willing to tap on the string, you're going to get the information.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So this conversation about dowsing has made me think, because the big challenge that I'm facing is, in my groups, in the activities I do, it is possible, more than possible. It's like every time we do it, we connect with these entities psychically.
Right.
Whether we call it extra dimensional or spiritual, or however we define it, but it's not physical. And so the people who are psychic in the group are having these perceptions, but people who are not so psychic are just not getting anything. So what my big sort of holy grail is to find some way, and this is something I'm experimenting with at the moment, some way where when we ask questions psychically, we get a physical communication back. Now, maybe if we all had dowsing rods, that could be the bridge between the spiritual or the psychic or the extra dimensional and the physical realm.
So there's lots of ways that you can do that, because I work with people all the time that aren't psychic, that are, but they don't know they are yet. The things that I have used in the past are the same things you use for paranormal investigating, because it's physical and tangible, or things you use for divination. So oracle cards are great for this kind of stuff because it's a physical thing. And I notice when people hold on to something tangible, their focus is on the cards and not the actual information, so they're able to receive it because they have a focus. So they're not so worried about, oh my God, am I getting anything? Instead, they're saying, what does the card mean? And so they're interpreting the card. It keeps the mind busy so that the abilities can do their thing. And a lot of, like, this is what I learned a long time ago with people, even people who get tarot readings. I don't really read tarot anymore. I have I have over 100 tarot decks. But what I use them for is to pull cards so that the people can look at them and stay focused so that I can pull the energy off of them and get the real story. Of course, I'm looking at the cards to get kind of a guideline as to what's really happening, but that's not where I get the information. I get the information from my own abilities. So
Yeah.
I learned really quickly to give somebody something to touch or to feel, tactile, because it keeps the mind busy. Other things that are really great for that kind of stuff is spirit boxes. Yes, spirit boxes, because they make noises and they're tactile, and that's an easy way of, especially if you're using collective energy, you can raise the energy and then use it to kind of propel the channeling. Think of the energy as a cone moving upward, and then put it into the room, whatever the room is. It's a virtual room or whatever, the space, the circle. Go through meditation. Everybody bring the energy up and then out around them, and then cast a circle around everybody so they're in the energy. I noticed that collective energy, people are able to read off of each other. So if, say, you're not as psychic as me, that's okay, because you can use some of my energy to get yourself up high enough to actually do it. And so collectively you can get people up a little bit higher, even if you're not psychic. And they will be like, oh my gosh, I'm getting information. You're like, yes, because I'm helping you. I'm facilitating the energy. So you'll notice some people are way up here and some people are down here, but then they'll find that medium. And then if you use like spirit boxes, or if you use ghost meters or things that make noises, people love that. And the more that they realize that they're interacting, the more it works, because then the confidence level goes up. And really, honestly, the only thing that keeps people from being psychic is confidence.
Really?
That's it. Because we seem to all have it innately in our bodies somewhere. And it usually revolves around your dominant sense. So if you have 5 senses, then you have a psychic ability. You just do. It's innate. It's a birthright. We all have it. Some of us just don't use it. Some of us turn it off. Some of us don't want to deal with it. Some of us are just better at it than others. I mean, I think of it as like a basketball player. Like, I can't play basketball to save my life, right? But there are people out there that can play basketball like crazy. They make millions of dollars at it. Never in my life will that ever happen, right? But I'm just really good at being psychic. So that doesn't mean I can't play basketball. It just means that I can't be professional at it. Yeah. So that's the same way with being psychic. You have a psychic bone somewhere in your body. You just have to find it. And usually the easiest way to find it is through your dominant sense. How do you find out what your dominant sense is? Well, it's easy. Do you see when do you dream a lot? If you dream a lot, you're probably clairvoyant. If you have to touch things in order to, like, do you like hugging people? Do you like touching things a lot? Are you really tactile? Then you're probably psychometry. Like, I don't know what psychometry, I don't know what the word is, but clairsentient is what it is. So it's that, if you smell, that's clairalience. If you are a taster kind of person, like you have to taste everything, you got to put things in your mouth, that's clairgusance. If you hear things, if you like always listening for things, so that would be a clairaudience. So you just gotta, if you feel a lot, that's also clairsentience, but it's actually called presentiment, which means that you feel everything, like, or empath. People call it being empathic. Yeah. But So if you feel a lot, then you're empathic. So you're going to get information. You're going to be really good at predicting the future if you're feeling based, because, oh my gosh, I have this feeling something's going to happen. It's your body telling you that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it depends. I just tell people, start thinking about how you interact with the world. You know, if you really think about how you interact, then you're going to find your dominant sense. And then once you find your dominant sense, then you're like, okay, if this is how I'm going to receive information, then how do I kind of work with that and experience more with it in different ways?
Yeah, this is all great advice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I wonder if one of the little signs that we get of us all being somewhat psychic is deja vu.
Yeah.
Now, just before we started recording this show, you experienced deja vu. And I experience deja vu every once in a while. And to me, it feels psychic. It feels like this is a really, and it only happens when there's something I think significant happening. Like this is a significant moment, like somebody's put like a bookmark in my timeline for some reason at this point. That's what it feels like to me. What do you think about that?
Deja vus are really interesting. I know that there's a scientific reason for it. I read all about it. You know, that it's just your brain.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this feels familiar because I've done something like this before. I mean, I've done tons of radio stuff, but you know, podcasting and stuff. I've done it for years, so maybe this is like some other experience, but that's not how it feels for me. Like I literally feel like I'm out of my body for a second. It's a different kind of experience. Where I feel like I'm, and it's not disassociation either, because I hear all the psychologists out there going, oh, she disassociates. That's awesome. Of course I do. But it's really hard not to disassociate when you're a psychic. You have to go somewhere. But it's not that either. It's this sense of pay attention. Pay attention. There's something going on here that you need to know. And my friend always says, you've done this before, do something different. When you feel the deja vu. And I'm like, what are you supposed to do different? Because you don't know what's happening. And he told me, he said, it doesn't matter, just say I'm doing something different. It's like you're experiencing it again to get it right or to evolve it in some way. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. But for me, I tend to think that it's just put a pin in it, like you said, put a pin in it. There's something here.
Yeah.
Now, did you put it on your timeline or did somebody else? Who knows? You can go into the Akashic, you know, and be like, okay, who put that there? But will they tell you? Usually not. Usually they're like, no. That's for you to figure out later. But I do notice when I do have deja vus, there is always some kind of information or energy that I need to experience at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is fascinating stuff. Now I'm going to change the direction we're going in a little bit here. Sure. Was it maybe a year and a half ago, something like that we were at a convention in the Ozarks?
It was actually, so it's in April. So it was April, would have been a year. The last part of April.
Okay. And you came to me and you started telling me about your connection with the Pleiadians.
Yes.
And it was fascinating because not only were you just giving me verbal information, you were showing me photos of devices that you've made that they have instructed you in or guided you in, and lots of interesting stuff that you had written down in your communications with them. Would you like to let people know how did your connection with the Pleiadians start and evolve, and where has it got to now?
Yeah, it's interesting that you're asking me this now. Because I've full circled with it with my friend Stephanie, who I do this kind of work with, and we actually were talking about this last night. So an interesting thing, but I want to side note on that. I never tell anybody about this stuff. So the fact that I even went up to you and started talking to you, I don't ever do that. Like, this is the kind of stuff that me and my friend Stephanie talk about, maybe 2 or 3 other people, because we're all channelers and we're all a little nutty, and we're like, okay, here we go. Here's the crazy today, right? But I don't know why I felt a need to tell you. I don't even really even understand the pull. There was something there. I was like, this person needs to know this. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Like, that's how my brain worked. I don't know why. But so the Pleiadian thing is interesting to me because it's not something that I ever intended to do or even thought about doing. I am the kind of person where I'd be very intrigued by that kind of stuff, but I'm like, okay, that's something that I will never do. Like, famous last words. Because I just don't understand it. I don't understand what the need for it is, right? So, but I would go and see channelers all the time. There's the one woman, she's French and I forgot her name. She's on the History Channel a lot.
I don't know.
I forget her name, but she does stuff with, she's very psychic and she does stuff with kids and stuff.
Okay.
If I remember, I'll let you know. But anyway, she's one of the only women on Ancient Aliens, and I've gone to her stuff a bunch, and she always talks about working with ultra terrestrials and channeling and stuff. And I remember just going, okay, I bought her book. I'm like, I don't get any of this. But a year later, almost exactly a year later, I started working with the Akashic Record a lot and working with like dimensions. Like, I'm like, I'm tired of doing tarot readings. I'm tired of being psychic. I'm tired of being a medium. I know as a medium, I'm going somewhere. I don't know where I'm going. And then I found out about the Akashic Records, and I'm like, maybe that's where I'm going, because that would make sense to me, because I'm literally pulling information from somewhere, and it's not the person. So where am I going? And as soon as I started learning about Akashic Records, I'm like, oh, there is a dimensional aspect to this, because you can go forward, backwards, even sideways if you need to find information. And the records are kind of interdimensional. So I started playing around with that, and I went into my records, and you meet your record keeper. That's like one of the first things you do. And so I went in there, and I started asking him questions like one does. And he's like, yeah, we've been together for a really long time. I'm like, that's really cool. And I go, are you an angel? Because you're wearing white and you're blonde, and you have blue eyes. And he was very tall, like 7 or 8 feet tall, and he just like kind of towered over me. And I was like, who are you? And he's like, I'm a Nord. And I'm like, okay, what's a Nord? And he's like, you don't know? And I'm like, no, I don't really know. He's like, you're gonna find out. And I'm like, okay, great. Like, do you want to give me any more information? He's like, I'm not an angel. Let me just say that, right? Because all of my record keepers kind of have a sense of humor about them. They never just give me information. They give me stuff to look up, and then I have to go and search for it. And so I was like, I don't even know what a Nord is, because it's not angels. I've never heard of that before. So I went on a search to see what Nords were, and then I found Pleiadians. And I'm like, wait a minute. My record keeper is not of this world. My record keeper is an ultra terrestrial. What's going on? Because that shouldn't be a thing. And then from there, I went into this whole spiral about star seeds and like what that was. And I was like, oh, okay. So from there, curiosity always gets the better of me. And I was like, well, maybe I could channel some of this stuff. And so I did start doing the channeling. And of course, the Pleiadians came right through with like the message was, oh, finally. Like, great. Not, hey, what's up? It was like, oh, you finally got it. Okay, good. So that was the first message, was finally. And then the message really was like, we've been around you forever. You're probably one of us. But they're always come around. The blue rays come around, and the blue rays, I don't even know what the blue rays are really. But they're blue and they look like rays. That's what I call them. I don't know really what they are. They're kind of like
Blu-rays.
lights.
We're not talking about movies and
No,
TV
it's like
shows
this blue light. They come in form of a blue light.
Okay.
So they always came through, and then there was one other that came through a lot. Who are the technology peacemaker ones? Andromedons.
Okay.
So the Andromedons come through too. And Mantis. Mantis comes through a lot. But those were the three that really came through. And I did not know these names when I, like, literally the Andromedon came, it was a woman, and she came to me in a dream and said, I'm an Andromedon. And it was like, you're a what? And then, like, I had to look it up. So there has been a lot of that. I have seen Dracos or lizards, or I don't know what else you want to call them.
Reptilians.
But with what?
Reptilians.
They're reptilians, but they don't really talk to me.
Okay.
They just kind of wave and go, "Hey, what's up?" But that's really how it happened. Now, why do the Pleiadians talk to me? I do not know. I don't know why it's them in particular, but yeah.
Do you think it's possible that, you know, when you came up to me and you started talking to me all about it, do you think it's possible that the Pleiadians wanted you to talk to me about them?
Yeah. I think. Yeah. Probably.
Because,
Yeah.
I would love for you, if you're open to it, to come to one of my astral projections, remote viewing sometime, and connect with the group with Pleiadians, and then let the group conversation happen. Is that something you might be open to, or
Yeah, I can completely do it. Yeah. There is I'm not gonna lie, there is a fear about it, and I'm not sure what the fear is about. It's not the channeling. It's not. I've channeled in front of people. That's not it at all. I don't. It's for some reason the channeling part with the Pleiadians throws me off, and it's not that I can't do it. It's not that I'm not accurate. It's that there's something about it that really throws me off. I don't even know why. I do it and I'm like, okay, that was interesting. And then I'm like, what was that about? Like, how do I say it? There's something bigger to it. There's something, like you were talking about the pyramid that I started to build.
Yeah.
And then I put it away because I'm like, what am I doing? And I started to create a room with it. And I was like, but why? And then somebody came up to me and told me about, they called it the Edgar Casey Ruby channeling. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. That's a lot of words together that I don't understand. And he told me it's like a pyramid that you walk into and you do channeling in it, and it's a place you go to connect with other interdimensional beings and ultra-terrestrials. And I was like, yeah, I know what that is because I'm building one by accident. Okay, that's interesting. But then
you were building this with the guidance of Pleiadians?
Yeah. There was a lot of channeling about make it, put it together. This is what it looks like. And then I went to this place called Alien Rock in Arkansas, and it was not about aliens. We went there for like a meditation thing. I mean, there was some alien stuff in there, but that's really wasn't what it was for. And well, later I found out it was, but that's a whole other story. But that was not the initial intention of going. And I found a book that was channelings of the Pleiadians or something like that, and I still have it. And there is a pyramid in there. And I showed my friend Stephanie. I'm like, does this look familiar to you? She's like, that's your pyramid. I'm like, yeah, what the heck? She's like, that is hilarious. And then I just put the book away because I was like, what is this? Like, why is it coming through? Like, what is the point of all this? And that's what we were talking about last night, because her and I, through the last 7 or 8 years, have been getting messages about things. And we're like, what are we supposed to do with this? And it's always about places. It's always about ley lines. It's places. It's portals. She talks to the Anunnaki. So, and that's very interesting to me because they don't even look at me. And she talks to Metatron, and Metatron just like, hey, what's up? I don't even like, we're not talking. I'm like, great. We surmise that certain people, like based on your personality or your energy, they like talking to certain people that have the same energy frequency as them, where they can just like bring the information in really quickly and you can absorb it. Where if they're in a different spectrum, they're not so interested in talking to you because they know there's going to be an issue, like a broadcasting issue.
Yeah.
So certain people talk to certain beings because of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
It's just like, okay, yeah, you have the mechanism for what I need.
So
but go ahead.
It sounds to me like what we need to figure out. I mean, I'm using the word need, but you know, what we could figure out is what is their reason for connecting with you? They have chosen you, whether you're on the same frequency, energy level. These Pleiadians have a very clear connection with you in a way that I don't see very often with other people.
Really?
I have a lot of people who are connecting with different beings who are connecting those beings with me, but really you're the only Pleiadian contact. And my theory is, because I know that the Pleiadians have got messages to me occasionally when I've reached out to them, is we want to connect with you, but then the connection doesn't really seem to happen. My theory is that that they can see into the future. They can see what the possibilities are, and one of those possibilities is you could be a medium or a channel through which they can send me messages, and then it all comes down to purpose. What's the purpose in this? Well, my purpose, my vision is universal peace, universal love, universal happiness. And I think that a lot of beings are connecting with me because of that. But I don't know, maybe they have a different purpose. Maybe you have a different purpose.
I don't know. I know it has to do with communication. I know it has to do with hotspots, like the 37th parallel, like portals, like openings, like places in the world that are a little more open. One of the things that I did get, and this is controversial, I'm just letting you know now, and I wasn't even asking, I was told that COVID was man-made, and they showed me a picture of it, and they were saying, yeah, it's a real. They told me it's a real thing. Yes, it's actually in nature, but what you're looking at is not that. This is something that is man-made. This is something that was intentionally put out there. And I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? Because if I say that, I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. You know, that's something. And I did say it on YouTube in one channeling message that I put out there, and then I immediately took it back because all this stuff happened around that. But yeah, I was see my voice goes away. Excuse me.
That's okay.
I was actually shown like this round thing with these little spikes in it, and like they're like, look right here, this is not supposed to be there. And I was like, okay. And then when the pictures of COVID came out, I was like, that is exactly what I saw. That, and it gave me the chills. Like, it literally gave me the chills because I run everything to Stephanie. You're gonna hear Stephanie a lot. But I was like, is this not what I just said on my YouTube channeling? And she's like, whoa, okay. That's a little, like, it freaked her out a little bit. And I was like, yeah, they kind of, it, the other thing that I saw were missiles, and they were a specific kind of missile. And I forgot about the missiles. And then a couple of months ago, Stephanie said to me, you were predicting the whole thing in Palestine, like that whole situation. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she showed me the missile, and it was and I'm like, okay, but I got that message 2 years ago. And I had no idea what to do about it. It's recorded. I have it.
Heather, I apologize for interrupting you, but we are approaching the end of this show.
Oh, okay.
I feel like we could carry on talking for another hour very easily. Well, I am going to just put up on the screen for people here. This is your website. And if people would like to connect with you for any reason, then that is how to reach out to Heather. I would like to thank you so much for being on this show. It's been fascinating. And maybe if we follow up, maybe we'll connect with the Pleiadians together and figure out what's going on. And maybe I'll have you back on the show another time and we can talk about it some more.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Heather. I really appreciate you being here with us. And I would like to thank everybody who is out there for watching this show, for tuning in. And I wish everybody peace, love, and happiness. You all take care. Goodbye for now.